All right. Thanks once again for tuning in to our NASCAR coverage on a Saturday night. I'm Greg DePalma, and we are going to take a look at the speed charts from earlier today at Iowa Speedway in the NASCAR Cup Series, the Iowa Corn 350. And we are also going to take a look at the updated odds. We'll give you some updated picks and whatever else we can do to help you out on this week's race. May not be exciting, but it is what it is. It's a short track, third ever NASCAR Cup race at Iowa. So who knows? The short track package has not really worked out well for the next gen, but you will see some differences here from some of the other short tracks. And we're going to get into that, especially manufacturers. Don't forget, you can join us every Tuesday. That's when we break down the races for an hour, usually 45 minutes to an hour with CJ Redoon from RotoWire. There's a link in the description of this video right now where you can check out CJ's DFS report on this race. That's at rotowire.com. He puts it out on Friday. There's a link where you can just bookmark it. Go there. You don't have to worry about hitting our link every Saturday night or Friday night. That's coming up soon too. But anyway, check that out. CJ's our lead motorsports analyst, and he's with us every Tuesday. Speaking of CJ, let's go ahead and take a look at our picks from Tuesday. And, of course, this is early in the week. We always do this. Now, I can't speak for CJ as far as whether or not he would want to change his picks or anything like that. As far as I'm concerned, I'm probably out on Byron at this point. You know, I'm not very happy with what happened today. It wasn't terrible, but I expected a little bit more. So we'll get into that. Bowman, yeah, probably would look for another long shot too, even though I think he's a good fantasy play. The last thing we always do on these Saturday night reports, we'll take a look at fantasy. I'll take a look at the DraftKings lineup, and we'll go over some really good bargains. And I think Bowman is still a good bargain if you want to play him for tomorrow. All right. So anyway, so those were our picks earlier this week. Let's now get right into it. Let's take a look at the speed charts. Let's start with practice, why don't we? So this is what started it all. And as you can see here, Eric Jones, what a big surprise. He came on late in the practice to steal away first. Good for Eric Jones. Eric really needs a win. And he has a shot to make the playoffs, but he really does need a win. And as you can see there, Toyota got off to a good start. Ty Gibbs had a good day, but so did Ford. Cindric, Gilliland, Blaney. You see Logano 7th. Denny Hamlin, we'll get to him in qualifying, but it was actually a pretty quiet day for Denny. And then there you see the rest. There's Byron. Again, 10th's not bad as far as practice. Just didn't like his qualifying effort. Reddick, a disappointing 17th. Larson, a disappointing 19th. Same for Briscoe. That's CJ's top pick at 20. Hocevar, 24th. Elliott had a terrible day. So did Suarez and Priest. And overall, as far as practice is concerned, Ford, the top 7. Chevy, their first and fastest was Ross Chastain in 8th. Now let's take a look at qualifying. And this is important only for the fact that we only have 2 races to go on handicapping. And in the 2 wins from Blaney and Byron, they both started on the front row in second. Now, Byron won last year. 4th was his practice speed. Blaney's was 22nd when he won in 2024. But that's typical Blaney. You know, Ryan Blaney has shown before he doesn't necessarily have to qualify or practice great on Saturday to win a race. But that's a little bit tough for us to gauge now, the whole practice deal of 22nd to 4th. But starting on the front row for a short track makes a lot of sense. And we really, look, we're not going to expect, we had a miserable time at it a couple of weeks ago. Everybody knows it. I don't know what they're going to do to change the Brickyard. They can't just do it again next year the same way. Something has to change. We've never seen anything like it. I mean, normally it's like, yeah, you can't, You're having a hard time passing at the front, but hey, if you're at the track, you can see everybody passing, from 30th to 20th and 20th to 10th or whatever the case may be. But that wasn't the case at the Brickyard. The Brickyard, there was no passing anywhere. Now, that's not going to be that bad this week, but it's not going to be great. History says, especially on a short track, position is going to mean so much at Iowa. And so we have to keep that in mind. Now, I think for fantasy, that's a completely different story. We're not trying to win a race necessarily. And if you're way back and we think we could gain 20 spots, that's going to be very effective, but that's a different deal. For winning the race, though, yeah, you're going to probably have to be up front. And if we go by the first two winners, well, Kyle Larson's in a good spot because he's starting second. But in reality, Ford is looking really strong. They have three of the top four, as you can see. Blaney, Logano, Keselowski. So that's 3 out of 4 plus the pole. Chevy had 4 of the top 9. Toyota just 2 of the top 9. Now, if you really think about it, if you look back at just the 2 races here, Chevy and Ford were the 2 best manufacturers, and Toyota was third. And we know how this season, but just keep in mind lately, look who's coming on. Penske, Ford, Blaney, Logano. This is what they do. And so we still have a ways to go. Still have a few races before the playoffs begin. And it just kind of looks like Ford might be getting ramped up now because they're heading into this race feeling good about themselves with those 2 wins out of the last 3. And they're having a really good weekend so far, which is not a surprise considering how they've looked the first couple of years here. All right, let's take a look at some of the others. Again, Ty Gibbs had a really good day. Austin Dillon, I think, is an interesting long shot. We'll get to him a little bit later on. Connor Zilic, one of his best days of the year, as far as qualifying at least. Eric Jones, still, even though he was first in practice to get a top 10 in qualifying, to follow that up was very, very good. Austin Cindric, solid day as well. I think Zane Smith had a good day driving a Ford. He's another long shot. You know how much we like Zane as a long shot. Again, Hocevar did not have a good day. William Byron, a very disappointing qualifying effort. Very bad day for Chase Briscoe. Very disappointing qualifying effort from Christopher Bell. Denny Hamlin, 29th. And we told you about Elliott, Suarez, and Priest. Okay. Let's pop up our template here and the odds. Ryan Blaney, 2-1 now to win the race. Value is completely off the board. Look, if you liked Ryan Blaney before the day today, you should have taken him. I mean, I don't know what else to say because look how good he's been here. First, fourth. He's led more laps than any other driver. I think it's 230. Third at Richmond. That's the most similar track to Iowa to go on. That's next week. And so whatever happens this week will be important for next week when we take a look at Richmond. The reason I did not go with Blaney and I went with Logano instead is just timing. Of course, I'm a Blaney fan. I just was wondering whether or not he had been hot for so long. And then the last couple of races, especially Indianapolis, things didn't go well. But as CJ said on Tuesday, maybe that was perfect to have the off week for Blaney because it kind of, he was maybe headed towards a little bit of a lull. He can't be hot forever. Look at Tyler Reddick. Maybe this came at the right time because Blaney looks awfully good now. But a 2-1, yeah, I would not be taking Ryan Blaney at 2-1 myself. But I think he's a really good must-play in fantasy. I don't care what the price is. All right. And then you've got Larson. Look, Kyle Larson he had a good qualifying effort, but slow in practice. And this says it all. he started third last year and finished 28th. He started on the pole in 2024 and finished 34th. He has lost over or nearly 60 positions in 2 races at Iowa. And in his last 4 races coming in, he's finished outside the top 30 3 times without a top 10. And he hasn't won a race in over a year. So 8-1, I think it says everything you need to know right now about where Kyle Larson's going. Is he's starting second and he's 8-1. How surprising is that? That just shows you right now, Vegas doesn't even have faith in him, because if they had faith in him, he'd be 4-1. Maybe he'd even be the favorite. But I can't take Kyle Larson right now. But Joey Logano, I still feel just as good as I did on Tuesday. Good day today for Joey Logano. He's dialed in. He's back. And when you take a look at his history here, both top 10s, he's hot. 3rd, 1st, and 9th in his last 3 races. That's his best run of the season. In my mind, there's no reason to not like Joey Logano, especially because you're getting good odds at 7-1. I got 9-1 on Tuesday, and I still think 7-1 is pretty good. Then you have Keselowski, and this was CJ's second pick on Tuesday. And thumbs up for me. I think Keselowski is a real good play in both fantasy and to win the race. You're getting great value at 22-1. Keselowski is starting to get going now. We know he's capable of getting hot, especially at this time of year. And this is it. He knows it. He's got back-to-back top 10s. This is the perfect, just put the gas down, just keep it going, keep the top 5s, top 10s. Let's win a race. Let's get in the playoff picture. He was 3rd last year, leading 68 laps, 10th the year before that. He was 9th at Richmond last year. All signs pointing towards a good day tomorrow for Brad Keselowski and a big number at 22-1. Tyler Reddick, on the other hand, just like Kyle Larson, Vegas understands that Tyler Reddick, finally they understand. It's been a little bit. We were ahead of the game there, that he has just been on a bad slide right now after being so hot earlier this year. No top 5s in his last 6 races. 19th and 22nd here at Iowa. That's not good. Yeah, there's nothing really to like except the fact that he will be starting 5th. That's the only thing that does stick out. But this is just not a good time to take Reddick. I'm not going to look. He's one of the best drivers right now still, as far as the season is concerned. That should mean something at 18-1. I tell you what, I'd much rather have Tyler Reddick than Kyle Larson. And I'm getting 18-1 over 8. And to tell you the truth, I'd take Reddick if he was the same odds as Larson. Gibbs, really good day for Gibbs. A lot of people think Gibbs is one of the best cars out there. The only thing I'm a little bit concerned with Gibbs is he just does not have a good history here so far. It's only been a couple of races, and he's a much better driver this year. So that does count for something. But he's finished 21st and 25th here. Obviously not very good at all. 9-1, that's okay, considering how good he was today. But again, Toyota, not necessarily as fast or as good here as Ford or Chevy the first 2 years. So, look, I think 9-1's fine. I think it's fair value considering how fast he is. I think it's a good option. He might be the best Toyota. Dillon and Zilich. Well, I'm not going to take Zilich because he just wasn't. If he would have been able to back up the qualifying run with a good practice run or vice versa, of course, he started practice first. That would have been something. But, yeah, his practice speed wasn't very good. And him winning a race like this would probably be even crazier than Corey Heim winning 2 races. Then you have Ross Chastain, who is not having a good year. So I really can't acknowledge Ross Chastain at this point. He finished 11th in both Iowa races. And I guess if you are thinking of taking him, just keep in mind he was 50-1 on Tuesday. So now he's 20-1. You've lost a lot of value there. There's Eric Jones. Again, 80-1. He's a definite must play. There's nothing as far as Eric Jones' history, limited history at this track, that would have said, hey, take Eric Jones, especially keeping in mind that he's kind of cooled off over the last couple of races. So a little bit of a surprise, actually, to see what happened with Jones. Thanks a lot, Donald, for the update about Brad. I should actually check out. Let me see what the let me check out. Where is it? Let's check out. They usually have some of these notes here as far as who's going to the rear. Let's see. Nothing here yet. Let's go back over here. Let's see if we can get, they always have, it's probably on this page. Pre-race inspection. Oh, Gilliland and Priest failed inspections twice. Okay. Well, that's not good for Gilliland. All right, let's see what else we see here. Qualifying order. What's this? Oh, practice. Why don't they have it here then? About Keselowski. They're usually good at that. This is pretty, let's see. I'll just type it in. Let's see what I get when I type it in. Where am I? Let's bring this over here. Brad Keselowski. Let's see. There it is. Crashed at Iowa after posting the third fastest lap. Significant damage. I don't know if it's because of the fact that maybe what are they trying to fix the car? Maybe let's see. I don't know whether that's the case or not. Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of, is that they're going to try to see if they could get the car. Yeah, because let's see. Let me throw this in here. All right. Pretty significant damage. Yeah, tell me about it, Brad. Because you're done now if you're going to the back. Can he keep his qualifying position if this car is repaired? See, this is the question I'm asking. Let's see. Anything updates in here? Yes, this is a long time ago. These are 5 hours ago. Yeah, so I don't have any updates here, obviously, and that's probably what's going on. They're probably trying to figure out if they can avoid starting in the rear. Because, again, if you start in the rear here at Iowa, you're done. So no updates here yet. But, again, still appreciate it, Donald, because that is still, no matter what, I mean, even if you fix the car, or not fix it, but even if you're able to get the car out there and you go, okay, we're going to go with it, then it's not going to be in great shape. So that's still important. All right, let's move on. Where were we? Okay, let's now move over to the contenders. Okay, and as far as the contenders go, Austin Cindric was a long shot. What was he earlier in the week? 65-1. He's sitting there now at 33-1. And that's, I'm sure, a big reason is he is teammates with two fast cars, Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney. Keep in mind that Cindric started 4th last year, finished 12th, led 20 laps, and was 5th at Richmond last year. And he's also finished between 11th and 14th in 7 of his last 8 races. So he's been very consistent. And the thing with Cindric, and now we're getting to the point, you got to keep this in mind now for the rest of the regular season. When you're thinking about the difference between fantasy and betting on your driver, is think about which drivers are on the borderline to get into the playoffs, and what they really need is consistency and points, because those drivers are not going to take chances. They're not going to push the car to win a race compared to other drivers out there that you might also like. So if you have 2 or 3 drivers you're thinking about, and one driver is on the borderline, and all his main interest is not screwing up, and the other guy is like way in or way out, and he just, hey, I just want to win a race, and go with that guy. So keep that in mind. And Cindric is definitely in that situation right now. And so, but he's 33 to 1. And again, his teammates are really fast, so he's a good long shot. Zane Smith, like I said, I'm always going to take Zane Smith, especially when he has a good day and he's driving a Ford and he had a good day, 2 top 15s. He doesn't have anything to show for it in 2 Iowa races, but he was 11th at Richmond last year, and he is trending in the right direction. There's Gilliland, and I guess he's going to be going back, failing inspection. So I probably wouldn't even have put him on the list then. Those odds should go up if he does start in the rear, and that's unfortunate. But then again, maybe that's the reason why he failed inspection, because he was 4th fastest in practice. Then you have Hocevar, who's had much, much better Saturdays. Hocevar is usually a very good practice and qualifying driver. Unfortunately, we did not see that today in either session. And he was 8th year last year at 35 to 1, I believe he was last year. He's 25 to 1 coming in, and now he's sitting there at 33 to 1. He's been racing pretty well in the last 3 races. Really, Carson's been doing a good job, and we talked about him as a really interesting 35 to 1 championship pick. I don't know what you guys think about Carson Hocevar winning a championship this stage of his career. Does he have it in him at 35 to 1? We're not talking 5 to 1, 10 to 1. Would you gamble on Carson Hocevar at 35 to 1 to win the championship? And there are other drivers that are in that range. So you just have to decide which way to go, obviously. Trying to think who else we were talking about in that range. Byron. That's right. William Byron, 30 to 1. Now, you would think William Byron would be the way to go, even though Hocevar has clearly been better than William Byron, not only this year, but lately. But Byron is the one that has all the experience. He's been known to get hot late and time it, and then he'll get to the championship and it just won't happen. But he's had a disastrous year. And consider this is how bad it's been for William Byron. He comes into this race, as far as his history is concerned, he's been here twice. He's finished 1st and 2nd. He led 141 laps last year. I believe he's the 2nd most laps led driver. And all of that. And he comes in and he has just a blasé kind of day. You know, again, he's practicing 10th, but the qualifying 19th. I mean, what was the first 2 qualifying efforts? They're a lot better than that, I can tell you that. All right, anyway, so Byron's still 12 to 1. I mean, what kind of value am I now getting with Byron? I mean, when I picked him the other day, I was able to do that because I had Logano as my top pick at 9 to 1. So I was able to get another driver the way that my strategy is when I'm picking drivers. And so that's why I kind of doubled down on 2 9 to 1 drivers. But I'm only getting 12 to 1 after the day I had. I won a little bit more than that. So if I hadn't already taken him, I'm definitely not going to take him now at 12 to 1. Chase Briscoe, this is CJ's top choice. Unfortunately, Chase was pretty non-existent today with those 20th place finishes. He was 2nd last year in this race, led 81 laps in his first one under Joe Gibbs. And he is really dialed in right now with 4 top 5s in his last 5 races. He's 18 to 1 to win the championship. And I think Chase Briscoe is an excellent championship pick. You're getting great value on Briscoe. He was right there at the end to win a championship last year, and it was almost like too early. Well, now this would be a great time to take him. And I'm pretty sure he was around 10 to 1, maybe when the season began. I have to double check in that range. So I think you're getting great odds right now on Chase Briscoe at 18 to 1. Maybe I just wait till tomorrow. Might get better odds considering how slow things look today for him. But we'll see. Chase Briscoe 16-1. What was he when CJ took him? He was 9-1. So at least you're getting a much better odds. I think CJ probably prefer much better day today than the odds. Christopher Bell. Now, this is the one that surprises me. Christopher Bell did not have a good day today. He was 9th in practice. Okay, wow. But he's 22nd in qualifying. Toyota is not grooved in here yet. This is not a great track for Toyota. It's almost like they just are ignoring the day he had. It's like, well, he was 5-1 to start the day, so he's 5-1 now. He didn't do anything to really make to put any more doubt in our minds. And okay, I mean, I did. It definitely put more doubt in my mind. He was 4th here in 2024, 17th last year. I guess because he's so hot, as we know, 4 top 5s in the last 5, 3 of those are runner-ups. It's just, I mean, what are we doing here? The odds are 5-1 before the day. He does not have a good day, and he's 5-1. So you're getting no value bump. And I see no reason if you took him before, okay, you live with it. But if you and look, Christopher Bell is definitely capable of not having a good Saturday and doing good on Sunday. Okay, so that can happen with Christopher Bell. It's just that you're getting no value. SVG, we thought SVG could be a sneaky pick as a long shot. Unfortunately, he had a very slow day today, 23rd in both sessions. He's really going well right now, but not a good day today. Bubba Wallace, he's got that trend going. And the trend that we've talked about every Tuesday says that Bubba Wallace should have a good day tomorrow. But he's off to a slow start, which is why he's 33-1. He was 18-1 on Tuesday. Does not look good for Bubba at this point. At least he was 11th in practice. So we'll see if he's, maybe he's a good fantasy choice that he can gain up ground from 26th. I think that's an option. Denny Hamlin. Yeah, Denny, this is interesting. So Denny Hamlin is 8-1. You might say, well, wait a second. I'm getting 8-1 on Denny Hamlin. He was the favorite of this race the other day at 4-1. This is great. Well, yeah, but a couple things. He did, even though he was 6th at practice, his qualifying was just ridiculous. And also, remember what we talked about on Tuesday. This has not been a good track for Denny Hamlin. He has not figured it out here. And he's driving a Toyota. But keep this in mind. He started 11th and 12th in his first 2 years, and he's lost 25 spots in both races, finishing 24th in both races. So now he starts 29th. I mean, the good thing is at least maybe you'll get an advantage in fantasy because he'll be able to gain on the 29. Maybe he gets a top 10. Problem is, you're going to have to pay for it. And he's still one of the top price drivers out there. We'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. And then Chase Elliott just looks really bad right now. So yeah, no good for Chase. Chase also got loose in practice, banged up the car a little bit, not major, but he banged it up. Okay. Let's go to fantasy. So this is the team I put together. And look, to me, Blaney's a no-brainer, which is also the reason why. I mean, if I'm going to decide on Blaney or Hamlin here, I'm taking Blaney. He's on the pole. He's already proven he could lead the most laps here. So why would I go with Hamlin over Blaney here? And I'm not going to take both of them, or you normally wouldn't. So no, I guess you could. But yeah, I think that's obvious to me. So I think that's a no-brainer. And then because of the short track, Logano, third, also definite. I'm going to move Keselowski out of here for sure. The unknown situation, but I've got other options. And then we get some long shots. Okay. So let's move down to the long shot territory here. And let's take a look first. Where do we want to start? Let's start. Well, Zane Smith's an option. Okay. He's 6,300. He's driving a Ford. I gave you the particulars about him. SVGs because he's 23rd. But again, his practice, I'd much, in his range, I just much rather just take Zane. Priest. Now, Priest is interesting, which was CJ's third pick on Tuesday. He was terrible today. But let's remember that Ryan Priest last year started 33rd in this race, and he ended up 5th. He gained 28 spots. He's also got 3 top 10s in his last 5. He's driving a Ford, and he led 60 laps at Richmond last year. So that's why there was a lot to like for Priest coming in here as a long shot by CJ. And here he starts to look again. Maybe he could fix it. Maybe he could find a way tomorrow. We're not winning a race, but hey, if we can somehow get into the top 15 or the top 10 like he did last year, that could be big for fantasy. So he still has to be an option at 7,000. He's pretty cheap. I think Cindric's an option at 72. I mentioned Wallace because he's starting 26th. Gibbs is not bad. That's the one thing about Gibbs here is that the price is not high. So if you really feel Gibbs will have a good day, he's a good option. I mean, I could take him here. Let's see. Who would I? I'm not worried about the other drivers I can't take. Now, I took Jones because, look, he was one of the better cars today. I have to consider that, and he's pretty cheap. Now, Bowman, who was my long shot pick, I mentioned that. Now, he did not have a good day today. 22nd in practice, 30th in qualifying, but he was 33rd to start in 2024, and he finished 8th, gained 25 spots. He finished top 10 in both races here, and he was 2nd at Richmond last year, which was why I liked Bowman as a long shot. Now, to win the race now, no. I'm not going to say Bowman's going to win this race, not starting 30th, but considering his background here, I feel pretty good about his chances of moving up quite a bit from 30th. The only thing I'd be a little bit worried with is Hendrick, even though Kyle Larson starting 2nd, just didn't think they had a good day today. And then Austin Dillon, I think he's a good value fantasy pick here. $6,800, and Dillon was very slow in practice. Okay, so I completely get that, but I'm going to ignore that because you have a driver who was 10th here last year, won Richmond last year. Okay, and when he finished 19th in 2024, he started 36th and gained 17 spots. So there was really, in each circumstance, the 2 races here, the race at Richmond, all good stuff. Now he starts 7th, and he's cheap. So I think he's a really good play because of that. So I'm still not sure that I'm going to knock any of these guys out. So the question then is, who do I want? I could take anybody I want. I think Gibbs is a definite possibility. I mean, the thing about Keselowski is, see, this is unfortunate. This is the thing that is kind of weak because if he starts in the back, I'm not going to get credit for it. As far as I know, I mean, if anybody has played this before and knows, let me know. So yeah, I haven't followed up on that, but I'd be interested to know if Keselowski does end up starting way back, whether or not they're going to change that here before the race starts, or they just say, hey, if you start 4th and then you wind up getting knocked to the rear, too bad, you're still going to be 4th. But you would think that they'd update it, because if they did update it, then I might actually like Keselowski again, because I could definitely see Keselowski if he winds up change into another car, I could actually see Keselowski having a good day, because that's what we thought when we started this on Tuesday, and even thought before he ended up wrecking or almost damaging his car too much where he can't repair it, that he should do well here. So I still think Keselowski is an option. But I need to see that drop. I'm not doing it if they stick with 4. And what else? I think, and again, Priest has got to be an option at 35th. And there's some of the others. I guess I'm going to go with Gibbs for now. So I'm going to go with Gibbs, and then I'm going to really seriously consider Keselowski if the number drops according to where he actually starts. Okay. As far as the pick situation, once again, let's bring it out. So, yeah, I'm not going to, again, I can't take Blaney now at 2-1. So I definitely love Logano, still staying with that. If Keselowski starts in the back, and you would think his odds will change, you might even double. So I would still throw a couple of bucks on Keselowski, but only if his odds go to like 40 or 50-1 or something. Gibbs, I think Gibbs is a good choice. Matter of fact, I would switch Byron with Gibbs right now in an instant, because Gibbs is 9-1. Byron was 9-1 on Tuesday. Of course, I can't do that. That's not how it works, but I can definitely do that on my own. I think Austin Dillon is definitely someone I want to put some money on now. 100-1, absolutely. I'll put money on. He might be the best long shot in the field at this point. And Eric Jones, you're getting 80-1 on Eric Jones. So love those two long shots. I don't expect a long shot to win this. Probably what you're going to see is a couple of drivers dominate. Blaney probably lead a lot of laps. Maybe Logano will do the same thing. Maybe Gibbs. And it may not be very exciting. I don't anticipate it's going to be. But hey, you never know. And then as far as the rest outside the top 10, yeah. So again, just going through, I'm sticking with Logano, Gibbs, and then Dillon and Jones is the long shots. And then wrapping up with the contenders, since their teammates are looking pretty good, I'll throw a few bucks on Cindric. Definitely Zane. Put a buck or two on him. And that's it. That's all. All right. So that's going to wrap it up. And next week, we have Richmond. And yeah, so I don't know how excited you guys are about the schedule. Oh, I heard about the schedule. As far as the schedule updates for next year, really, really thrilled that they're going to go to Watkins Glen during the playoffs. I think they also said New Hampshire and Richmond in the playoffs. I mean, really? I mean, why don't you just bore us to death some more with that announcement? Watkins Glen, Richmond, and New Hampshire in the playoffs. So that's what I heard, at least. We'll see. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. And I think they said they're going back. I know they're sticking with 2 races at Phoenix, even though everybody hates Phoenix. Anyway, we'll talk about that on Tuesday's show with CJ and I as we wrap up Iowa. We get closer to the playoffs. And don't forget to check out. Now is a good time to check out championship futures. Again, I think even Logano. What is Logano? He's still got a good price, 20-1 on Logano. Come on, let's go. Let's do it before tomorrow. Because if he wins tomorrow, you're getting 10-1. So take a look, Logano and Briscoe, 20-1 and 18-1. Again, I don't know what you guys think about Hocevar. If you think it's capable of winning a championship at this stage of his career at 35-1. And I think that's about it with the value plays. That's okay. I don't know what else you expect. It's really hard to win a championship. You have to be really at the top of your game, top driver. So you're not going to get great odds at this time of the season. So I'd say Logano and Briscoe. Go ahead and take those 2 drivers, especially with Logano before tomorrow. Briscoe, you could probably wait. You might get better odds after tomorrow. And we'll talk more about that on a weekly basis all the way through here on Proline TV. And one of the things you could also do is share the videos. Sharing the videos are just as important as subscribing to the videos, because these get us out there more to the general public. And the more traffic we get, the more subscribers then we get. And of course, the more time on the shows we can incorporate, the more revenue we'll make, and the easier it'll be for us to continue to do these shows. Because I know it's not going to be all the way through the college football season, but it's really going to be funny during Saturdays through through the championship. It's going to be a couple of months, because we're going to be doing college football shows on the Arlads Football Network on midnight on Saturdays. So just imagine if I've got one of the, I'm going to have a handful of these on Saturday nights, and I got college football going on, and I got a college football show I got to do at midnight. But anyway, I'm actually okay with that, because if I have to do a show at midnight, then this will be like getting my juices flowing. This is like an appetizer before I have to do the college football show. So yeah, if you're a college football fan, check that out on the Arlads Football Network, midnight every Saturday. I'm still trying to talk myself into it, even though I've already confirmed it. I'll be doing it with Steve Helwick of SB Nation. So I'll have a partner every Saturday. Steve travels to games every week, a group of 6 games, excuse me. But he still goes to games every week. So he's dialed in the college football community. It's going to be great to have him on board all season long. And we've got wall-to-wall interviews and content before the season begins to get you ready for the start of the NFL and college football season at Arlads, the Arlads Football Channel. Don't forget, Jim Feist is back on Tuesday, along with Andy. I'm not sure what they're going to talk about, but probably a lot of baseball and NFL, especially they'll gear up when they start doing shows at Dom DeMarco's in Las Vegas, which won't be, I believe, until the first week of September. And then that show moves from Tuesday to Wednesday. We'll have our weekly football shows here on Proline TV. We'll do one, hopefully, like we did last year, maybe one on Thursday, one on Friday, college football, NFL. I'll do something with Jim. I'll do something with Mark. And then, of course, we've got the Playbook Show with Mark hosting it, Jim, Andy, and I. So, again, if you're into college football, the NFL, check that out. And I think we're done with the golf. Not going to do anything with golf the rest of the season. Definitely don't have more time for that. And horse racing continues. We won't be on horse racing next week, but there'll be some really big racing going on in the next few weeks after that. And so if you're into horse racing, you can check that out. That's actually a pretty popular show here on Proline TV. Okay, so that'll wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in. Again, share the videos. That'd be awesome. Let us know what's on your mind, and let us know about answering some of the questions I asked just a little bit before, and also from Tuesday. That'll wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day, everybody, tomorrow, and we'll